Hey guys, it's Brian, and today I need to get this classic 1967 Porsche ready for its first road trip, and probably, I've owned the car a little more than 15 years. I know it was probably 25 or 30 years for its first road trip. Now, if you've been following me the last couple of years of restoring this car, then you know it's had a couple short little 2-hour trips, but nothing like this, because I'm taking this car to SEMA in Vegas next week. It's about 1,000 miles round trip from my place, so I need to make sure she's ready to go. So if you're into SEMA, keep watching as we get this ready, or if you have a classic car or a Porsche, thinking about a road trip, before you do it, let me show you some things I'm gonna do and you should do before taking a classic car on a long road trip. Let's go. So overall, the car's in pretty good shape, as you can see. Now this is my 1967 Porsche 912. There's my dog, Miss Sierra. The only thing different about this car than most 67 Porsches is that my motor, instead of being a 616 flat 4 from Porsche, it is a 1976 Porsche 912E, which is a Type 4 motor, a 2-liter. I have that in the back. Now, in 1976, they only made around 2,100 Porsche 912Es, and I was lucky enough to grab a motor from someone who was doing an upgrade to a 911 motor. Bad mistake, but I got his motor. But let's get to the first thing I want to do is check underneath the hood. Since this is the first time taking this car on any kind of long road trip, that tire, I think it needs to be replaced. Look at the cracking. All right, so I need to get a new tire for the spare. Make sure I bring certain things like a tow strap if I need it, extra fan belt. That is my jack pad. If you don't have one of these, I'll leave a link in the bottom of the description. But for Porsche guys, this is a lifesaver. So your jacking point on a Porsche is that right there. What you do is, then you can take your floor jack and lift up, and your whole car will lift up. So we need that. That is cool to have. Link down below if you want to buy one. Yeah, you'll make me a nickel. So what I'm going to do now is we want to jack up the front of the car. I want to make sure the wheel bearings and all the suspension's good. I know for the most part it is, because I replaced the whole front suspension back about 2 years ago. So I know new ball joints, new shocks, new tie rod ends and all that. The back end has new bushings as well. Did not do the wheel bearings because those are a pain in the ass. But eventually it's gonna have to be done. So let's go take a look at the motor real quick. If you're new to Porsches, that's how you pop that back there. This is my Type 4. Dual Webers on that. So I've just done a tune-up on it. There's a video someplace around here showing how to do it. I'm just gonna go make sure oil is good, make sure my carbs are synced right real quick here. Just making sure everything is good to go. Oil change was done maybe 500 miles ago. So just some basic stuff. So oil change you wanna do, make sure you adjust your valves if you're a one of those guys with Porsches or Volkswagen motors. And make sure your points are updated. I have electronic ignition. So just some buttoning up. So with that, let's get to testing out that front suspension and make sure we're good to go and those wheel bearings are tight. All right, let's check our tires real quick here. You can see we're getting pretty low, but there's enough tread there for our trip. This is about 1,000-mile round trip to Vegas from where I'm at here in Phoenix, Arizona. So that looks good. Next, let's check that tire pressure. All right, we'll take this valve cap off. Whoop. Cool little thing on Porsche is the bottom point of the crest always points to your valve. So we'll take our gauge here, we'll put it on here, we'll test it, and that's about right for this wheel. Okay, let's move on and we'll do all 4 wheels. Kind of a cool thing with the Porsches, 911 and such, the tow hook right there, that's the best place to jack up the front of your Porsche if you want to do some work. Let's test out these wheel bearings and suspension. Okay. No movement there. I know you love that. I know you love that. Come over here. Get over here. Over there. Yeah, there is a little looseness right there in that one. So I think I'm gonna check that bearing. Nothing there. Nothing there. So we need to get that wheel off and check that bearing over there. All right, so went and got a new tire. As you can see, got that squared away. We need to check the brake fluid in this. Brake fluid is right up here in a Porsche. Check your brake fluid probably over there on an American car. So we'll check this. We'll check it off the list. Back here, now I know if you have an American car, your engine's going to be up front, but still the same thing. Back here, make sure you've done a tune-up, oil change, check your oil before leaving. If you have carbs, tune those up. More than likely you'll have some carbs. Make sure all of this back here is in tip-top shape. If you know how to do it yourself, awesome. If not, go to someone who can. Make sure you got a new fresh fuel filter. Just make sure everything is topped off and ready to go. Also, since Porsches don't use a radiator, if you have a radiator in your car, make sure your fluid is looking good on that. All right, so we're done back here. All right, so next up, we're gonna test our battery. Put that right there. Get our cables here. Zero it out. Negative, positive. Looks like about 12.68, 6.9, 12.7. Now let's start the car and see what we got. All right, let's start this up. Jump in here. Make sure that's up. Make sure we're out of gear. Porsche keys are always over here on this side. Give it a few pumps. She's a little cold, so we're going to give her a moment here to warm up, and then we will check that battery. All right, let's check it now while it's running. Zero it out. I'm about 14.4, so we know that alternator's putting out. So we are good with our electrical. Everything is good there. All right, guys, it looks like the 67 Porsche is ready for this 1,000-mile road trip. First road trip in like 30 years for this car to Vegas next week for the SEMA Show. If you're going to Vegas for SEMA, will you comment down below and let me know if you're in a booth or if you're going as an attendee, and maybe we can hook up and see something. If there's something that you want me to take care of or take pictures of or take video of while at SEMA and you're not going to be there, comment down below as well. Let me know what it is you want me to show you, and I'll get some video and pictures of that to show you in the next week. So without that, let me go over really quickly the steps that you need to do for a classic car if you're taking it on a long road trip. Number one, you want to take care of your wheels. Make sure you have good tread, make sure your wheel bearings are good, make sure your suspension is good, make sure everything is good there and you have air pressure and you have a good spare. Number two, make sure your brakes are in tip-top shape. Number three, make sure you have a tune-up. Make sure you have fresh oil. Make sure your transmission is serviced, and make sure you have coolant if your car has one of those. Number four, make sure all around your vehicle is in great shape. Take a little bit of time, look over the things that you will possibly break down on you on a long road trip. And with those things, you should be able to rock and roll your classic car anywhere you want to go. And what else? The motor behind me. Yeah, that's the Pontiac motor. Is it a 326? Is it a 350? Is it a 400? If if you're into Pontiac's next video, you might want to check that out. But until then, I will see you on the road to SEMA. Check it out. I'm going to be doing reports from the Porsche and some show stuff while we're there. So we'll see you at SEMA. Comment down below if you're going to SEMA. I'd love to have a chance to meet up with you guys and talk cars. All right, guys, we're out of here. Thank you so much. See you in Vegas.